I would like to show you today how to fundamentally build a performance. I always start in the live set mode, and I have already built some performances here. I also have a template from which I always start. It's just empty, so let's just get started. So we first click on the performance, then go into performance mode. And depending on what we set up earlier, we have some view here. Let's go back to the main view for me. As the very first sound, we have a piano here. That's distributed across the entire keyboard, which is nice as well. Next, I would like to add some strings. Then I click here on the plus. I will choose a category here, and then consider if I want to make any restrictions that I showed in the last video. I don't want to do that now. The strings can be a bit more dynamic. Let's take something like this. And we go back into the performance. The strings, as we can see now, consist of two parts, and that is already assigned differently to the keyboard zones. Let's see what happens there. It doesn't seem to be much at all, which means I can delete it as well. To do this, I click into the part and then on delete. Now I want to have the strings only in the lower range. Then I have several options. I can click in here and then change it using the dial. I click on enter, then I see the keyboard up here, and now I click on the key where I want to go. I just need to press enter again, and then it will simply be free. And now it is only in the lower area. What else can I do here? I can turn the keyboard control on and off. I can mute the thing, and I can hold the solo function. Now let's add a pad to it. A core pad that we run across the entire keyboard. This is sufficient as an example. Let's see what else we can do here. We can assign the controllers. Since this is very complex, we will do that in another video. You can do this here as common for the overall performance or for the individual parts. What's interesting to start with is definitely the mixing, because here I can select the equalizer, either a 3-band or a 2-band equalizer. I can change the sense for the reverb or the variable effect, either with the knob or here with the two buttons. The dry level, I can simply pan left and pan right here, and down here is the volume. I can also do that, as I just did, with the first 4 springs for the first 4 performances. To do this, I need to push the fader all the way to the end, specifically to where the dual is, and then it takes it with. We have also talked about the scenes, and you can do that here. You can assign the scenes individually. Play rack, here we can insert a backing track, or we can simply use the pattern sequencer, where we can also do something else. Smart morph, we can also deal with that at some point. And we will also cover the remote another time. What else can we do that's nice? Let's just dive into a part and edit it a bit. Let's see what we can do with it. You can see down here that I am editing part 5, that I am currently on the common page, and that I would have 8 elements available here, but I am only using 5. Just click on it, and you can see that as well. The element is on up here. The bright blue indicates that they are turned on. The dark blue means they are not in use. Let's go back to the coming area and start from the top to see what can be done. So first you can see here in the part setting general what category of sound we are in, the subcategory, and the name. You can adjust it if you want to. You don't have to, but you can. The volume that we have already seen here is the same. I go back in there. I can change it here as well. And the same goes for the other things here. Pan, dry level, variable send, reverb send. Then I can choose the output here, which I have shown before. I can either go through the main, USB stereo, or USB mono. Then I can select whether I want to play the sound polyphonically or monophonically. We will deal with all the other things another time, except for this one, element. Pan means that I can adjust the pan for each individual element here, going left and right. And he then takes that and does not process all elements through the main pan control. Here we have the velocity sensitivity, where the sound responds, keyboard range, and that goes a little deeper. Usually you can leave that in the standard setting for now. Let's move on. Pitch. Here in pitch mode, the interesting part is actually the pitch band. And here, going down, going up. I can also do a plus down, which sometimes makes sense. There is actually a sound where, when I move the pitch up, I go up 3 semitones, and when I move it down, I go down 5 semitones. I don't really remember what that was for, but it actually made sense. That's enough for the beginning. What I can simply do now is transpose the individual part up and down. However, only 24 semitones. This is a typical Yamaha feature, that it only goes up 24, down 24. You can live with it, you can manage it, you can trick it, and a slight detuning of the part. Then we have the zone settings. This is about whether you can turn it off or on, and it concerns how the channel sends out MIDI signals, in which range it transposes octaves. You know all this. Here you can actually transpose 3 octaves up and 1 down, and here you can then choose the MIDI channel separately through which it sends out. That means, unlike sequencers, as it reacts to me, each part can send out on any channel. That's good to know. And then I can still say what commands it sends out and what it doesn't. We turn it off again, as we don't need it. Then we have the effects side. Here we see the effects routing. These are the individual elements that I can send separately to my insert 1 and insert 2, which then go into the main effect. Here I can change the sat effect. For example, we can take delay and then adjust it here. The same is applicable to effect B. In a similar manner, you can simply adjust what belongs to the effect to the situation. Then we have an equalizer, where we can distinguish between a 2-band and a 3-band equalizer. And I actually still need to deal with that side myself. We'll come back to that another time. These are actually the basic settings we need. We also have the arpeggiator here, which I will cover another time. We'll also discuss the motion sequencer another time, and modulation control will also be addressed another time as it gets more complex. What we are going to do now is take a look at the individual elements here and see what can be done. Here you can also see where the waveform is located, along with the name and so on. Then there is this fun XA control that has been around for some time on Yamaha keyboards. We will go into which group it is assigned to another time, and so on. Here I can do fine-tuning and also transpose more than 24 semitones, namely 48, together with the 24, that adds up to quite a bit. Then I can work velocity limit, note limit, the center key. For the wave file, these are the important things that one should simply know for a start. Then we can proceed here. Here we can now set the attack, decay, and decay release. For the filter, we can of course select the filter type. Then we can adjust the filter curve and the scale. We can set the output level for the amplitude. Here we can set the amplitude curve, so attack, decay, decay, release. Should, I think, be familiar, and again scale. Those are actually the important things. We also have the LFO that we can select here, and again the equalizer, where we can choose several different options, such as the 2-meter equalizer, then PEQ, Boost 6, Boost 12, Boost 8. These are preset options that we can use.